Hey, so good to have you here today. 7 p.m. on the East Coast yet again. Larry Sharp here. So happy that you're giving me a couple seconds, a couple minutes of your evening. I appreciate it. And I want to say something that's really, in my view, super important. This morning, I was in Albany with my, I think, fourth or fifth, I don't know how many cases, fourth or fifth cases, case to try to get back on the ballot from being on the ballot, off the ballot, on the ballot, off the ballot, back and forth. Recently thrown off the ballot by the conservatives and Republican parties of New York State. And was there this morning, 9:30 in Albany, and about 15 or so in that area, people showed up. Thank you. I cannot tell you how important it is for when you show up. It really does matter. That it lets me know that I'm not alone when sometimes I feel like I'm alone, but it also lets other people know that they're not alone when they want to make a change in their state and make something happen. So I really appreciate those of you who showed up. And some of you saw press showed up too, which was nice. Having a little bit of press there is also good, showing that people actually cared. No one else who had a case there, or 4 other cases there this morning, no one else had anybody show up in the courtroom but us. So thank you so much for that. And so for those of you who were watching or want to keep watching, please like, comment, and share. And of course, this is going to be a talking update. And it's always a fundraiser. So if you want to support, please support. Well, let me tell you what happened, and then let me tell you what's happening. I have a question for you, though. I want you to imagine something for a second. I know a bunch of you are watching, and thank you for watching. Let's say for a moment, I have, if you could imagine, I have a garage on my property that I rent out. Stay with me on this. I rent out this garage. I rent it out to David. David said, "Hey Larry, can I use a half of your garage?" And I said, "Yeah, you can rent it out to me." He says, "How much?" I say $100. $100. He goes, "All right." He gives me a check for $100, and he moves his stuff into half of my garage, and he puts it there. And I go, "Thanks." I cash that check, and then every month, David gives me a check, and every month I let him use half of my garage. Right? No agreement, nothing written. No one said anything except that $100. So all I said was $100. So he gives me $100 every month. I take it every month, and he gets to use my garage, half of my garage. Well, all of a sudden, Andrea sees that. She looks at it and she goes over to David and she says, "Hey, David, how much for Larry to rent half of Larry Sharp's garage? I could use the space." He says, "Every month I give him $100. She goes, "Oh, that's great." So she comes over to me. She says, "Hey, Larry, can I rent the other half of your garage?" And I say, "How much?" She says, and she asks how much, and I say, "Oh, $100. She goes, "Great, thank you." She gives me $100. She moves her stuff in. Now, at what point did I say $100 per month? I never did. I never said $100 per month at any point. It's not written down. I never agreed to $100 a month. I just kept taking David's check every month, $100, and letting him have half my garage. So now Andrea, when she asked me how much, I said $100. I didn't say per month. I just said $100. So she gives me $100, puts it in. A week later, I tell Andrea, not David, Andrea, "Oh, you now have to give me $300, or I'm going to take your stuff and throw it into the street." She goes, "Whoa. It's been a week. You can't just change that. You can't change that deal." And I go, "I never said a month. I just said $100. You assumed it was a month. It's $100 a week. And now every week is $300. That's what it really is." And she goes, "Well, no. I don't have $300. I put it in. You got to give me to the end of the month." And I go, "No, I don't have to give you to the end of the month. I never said monthly." Now, I would ask you, as a normal human being hearing this, do you believe that I should assume that there's an implied contract that everybody knew it was per month? And if I want to change that rent, I could, it's my garage, I could change the rent, but I have to give her at least a month and let her know, hey, next month, it's going to be $300. If you don't like it, pack your stuff, take it out, but you get the rest of the month and you decide if you still want to pay $300 a month or not. Would that be the right thing? Of course you would say that. Of course, any judge would say that. Of course, even though in this case, at no point did I bring up $100 per month. The implied contract would have been assumed. Everybody would know it was per month. Why? It's been for the other guy, $100 per month. I took the check. Everyone knows that usually when it comes to renting places, usually it's $100. Everybody would assume $100, even though, of course, I can change the rent, but I can't change it after I've cashed the check. Nobody would disagree. Well, at least 7 judges in New York State disagree. At least 7, because I did exactly that. In 2018, I went and got 50,000 votes and got 50,000 signatures to get ballot access and party status for my party for 4 years. Now, did the state tell me it was for 4 years? It did not. But had it always been for 4 years since I've been alive? Yes. Was it 4 years for every other party ever? Yes. Every single time? Yes. It was 15,000 votes, 50,000 signatures and 50,000 votes for 4 years, every single time before. Did it say specifically 4 years? It did not. But isn't there an implied contract that I will get it for 4 years? Of course there is. Any judge who would not say that, and at least 7 in New York State did, would show that they just want to, without question, back the state over the individual and don't care. They would have hammered me if I was a landlord and I'd done that to Andrea. They would have hammered me. They probably would have punished me and let Andrea stay for 6 extra months as a squatter. They probably would have murdered me on that one. But when I drop, and this is 2018, $500,000 in a campaign, $10,000 of my own money to get ballot access in the agreement that the state said that they would give me with the implied contract that it's 4 years, they said no. And again, not just one judge, 7 judges said no. This is the terrible state that our judges in New York State are. They support the state and not the individuals at all. And they say it with glee. They say it almost like they're laughing. Like, how dare you think? Their answer is, I'm not joking, and you can check this if you want to. This is public. Their answer is, the state reserves the right to change. It just does. So me, as an owner of a garage, I don't have a right to change in the middle of a month, but they do, because to hell with you, third parties and Larry Sharpe. That's our judges in New York State. Proudly, that's what judges, of course. You might say, well, Larry, why are you saying that? Because we went today and we got our decision today. And our decision was yet again, no, I will not be on the ballot in 2022. I'm sorry, guys. As you know, I fought to the absolute end. And I don't think that another appeal is going to make any sense. It does not mean the campaign's over at all. It's not. Everyone else has quit. I don't think we can. And the reason why I say it is, for those of you who don't understand the damage that this will do if we don't get a third party in New York State, and I want to be very clear, a lot of damage. This is now all of their terrible rulings, which are all terrible. Everyone is embarrassing how bad their rulings are. You can watch if you want to. If you see their bad rulings, these are going to stay. This is going to be the norm, because what the last judge we talked to, he didn't actually argue any of my arguments. He basically just said, well, other people, so that's it. He basically said precedent's all that matters. The sad part is most of these people didn't even read what we wrote. That's the part that's the most. You're saying, Larry, you're just saying that because you're mad. No, if you can tell, I'm not mad. That's when I'm mad, you know I'm mad. I have just finally come to understand that the judges don't even read what we write. There were a dozen people in the courtroom and they heard the argument. People watched it on online and they heard the arguments. They've seen it. We've given it up. The arguments are clear. And when they respond in a way that seems like they didn't even read it. Why? Because they didn't even read it. If you remember the last time, Judge Weinstein said that Larry Sharpe never made a constitutional argument. I literally did. It is documented in both writing, in the oral argument, and in the transcript. I used the word unconstitutional like 2 or 3 times. Literally, I gave it a detailed example of it. I showed them this time, 5 judges. It was in the brief that Gary Denoyan wrote. My chunk of why it's an unconstitutional argument. And by the way, here is my argument. And some of you might know this. Again, public knowledge. I said, most people who run third party recognize that they probably aren't going to win. The odds are very slim that they're going to win. So why in the world would they bother to run knowing and go through all of this pain to run if they know they're probably not going to win? It's a protest. It's their speech. They want to be heard. Literally First Amendment rights, which you are crushing. Literally. And in New York State, historically, at least 500,000 people vote third party every election, every 2 years. 500,000. You are literally disenfranchising 500,000 voters. As an individual, if I decide to vote for not the other 2, clearly that's a protest vote. Judge didn't care. None of them. 7 judges were like, nope, don't care at all. Don't care. Yep, don't care. 7 don't care. Don't care about our constitutional rights. Again, this is stuff you can check out. I don't know what else to do in this case. Am I going to yet again do this? Why do I say this? This now, these horrible rulings are now part of precedent in New York State. That's a bad thing. This is now precedent in New York State. So now anybody else, whether it's Forward Party, Green Party, Independent Party, they now have to get through not only what I went through, but now these on top of it. They're going to go, well, I can't say anything because this is the past. Now, I know you might say, but Larry, there's new information. I tried that. I literally said Judge Weinstein's is no good. His ruling's no good because he didn't pay attention to the new information. And I brought up, Plessy versus Ferguson, which is separate but equal. Some of you may know that one, right? How that everyone thought separate but equal was fair until they found that at the end, it's not fair. So segregation is wrong, right? That was literally Brown versus Board of Education. Everyone knows that. So I brought that up. This is new information. We thought this was fair. Nobody made it. So it's unfair. Clearly, the data is in. A sitting congressman couldn't make it, not without fraud. And a multimillionaire couldn't make it. I couldn't make it. Clearly, it's impossible. Literally, nobody made it for the first time in 76 years. Let me repeat that. No governor candidate, independent, made it on the ballot for the first time in 76 years. What changed in 76 years? Oh, these stupid rules. It's the only thing different. I'm literally the same guy. The only thing that changed is the rules. And they went, 7 judges. Now, all those rules are now, all those rulings, all those terrible, embarrassing rulings are now something else to look forward to. If we don't get 130,000 votes in this next November election, there will be no independent parties in New York State for a generation, at least, if not more. And you might say, Larry, what do I care? What do I care if there's no independent party in New York? Who do I care? I don't live in New York State. That means no independent presidential candidate either, because they won't have ballot access in New York State. If you lose ballot access in one smaller state, that's bad. Not the end of the world. It would suck. You'd want to have all 50. But if you lose in New York State, you're not a player. You're not real. Already, small parties, third parties, already have a problem being legitimized all the time. This will just devastate them all. So now what am I telling you? For a generation, if we don't get these 130,000 votes, for a generation, we will have the left-right paradigm that has been tearing this nation apart for decades, continually destroying us. Do you think we can survive? I have said many times, people say, Larry, you're going to save the world. No, I don't think I'm going to save the world. Do I think I can be part of the people who will set it up to be saved? Yes, I think that can be. I think we can be part of that. I think we can. I really believe that in my heart we can. If we don't do this, there's no chance. It will cost whoever wants to try at least $500,000 just to get ballot access in New York State, and they might still fail because all of these precedents will now be used to stop them too. And they know it. So I would ask you, if you were to be able to raise $500,000 in the presidential candidacy, would you spend $500,000 in New York State when you probably won't make it? You probably won't. You probably won't. That'll be the end. I don't want that to happen. We have to keep going. We've got to keep going even through this, because if we don't, there's literally no hope. There's no hope. But if we do make it, there's hope. There is hope. If we make it, there's hope. So I'm asking you, if you see people out there worried or concerned, I get it. And I get that you might be distraught or feel bad or be unhappy. Me too. But as you've been watching me these last 9 months, probably more like 6 months, I've been getting my ass kicked for 6 months. I've been losing and getting punched and backstabbed by people, other parties, trashed by media, trashed by people all the time for at least the last 6 months, if not longer. But I keep going. I have to. There isn't, I don't see another option of getting a third party. I just don't see it. I think we have to make it happen. So we've got to keep pushing. So here is what I think the next step is. To be clear, is there a possibility of us doing one more appeal? Maybe there is. We're going to look at it and see if it makes sense. Maybe we can, possible. The odds are not in it. But look, if the lawyers go, yeah, maybe we'll do it again. But I doubt it. I think the odds are very similar to another appeal. So instead, we have to push to the next level, which is a write-in campaign. Now, here's the issue. With a write-in campaign, I mean, the way that we make this happen is through people who are hardcore, who want to show up and do it, and people who will do stamps. And I mean that literally. We're going to have slapping stamps. Just stamp Larry Sharpe onto the ballot. That is legal in New York State. It's how they did it in Buffalo. We're going to copy that model. In Buffalo, for those you don't know, the current mayor of Buffalo, they were able to win with a write-in using stamps. So we will do the same thing. We'll follow that model, and we will try to get at least 130,000 votes, if not a whole lot more, to make more impact. The advantage of this, there's an advantage to this. There's a disadvantage, obviously. It's a whole lot harder. The advantage is, if we make this happen, when we make this happen, this will make even more news, and it will get us an actual party that we can now get local people to run and win next year. That's the key. Now you might go, Larry, it doesn't matter if we do this. We're just going to fight again. No, not yet they won't. And here's the reason why. Whatever they change, and they might change, they'll change it again maybe in 2024, and they'll add something else. But it doesn't matter. Whatever they do, it's great. Next year, if we bust our rump, we will get a bunch of local people elected, as we did last time, and we'll be set for the next one. That's the hope. We'll be set for the next one because we have made the ballot access now. Again, if we get 130,000 votes and we now have party status, we would keep party status in 2023. And 2024. We'd retain it. We'd have to get another 130,000 in 2024, which would be challenging. But if we got a write-in of 130,000, we would actually be on the ballot in 2024. And if we can't get 130,000 regular votes in 2024, when we got write-in votes and stamp votes in 2022, what's wrong with us? So this stamp/write-in campaign will set us up, I hope, in perpetuity. That's the goal. It sets us up in perpetuity. We will be able to make this happen. We will have that base of people who can support this third party forever. And how do I know this? Because about 250,000 people every 2 years in New York State vote third or independent candidate. If we get them to first get the write-in/stamp-in. They will then copy that, and every 2 years, I'll get that 250,000 people voting, and we'll stay in the game. So we can still do it. We should do it. That's the goal. Now, how do we get the stamps? We're going to start ordering them and having them available. We're going to work on that coming up this week. I hope within a couple of weeks, we'll have them available. I'm not going to stop campaigning. Tomorrow, I have 3 stops in North Country. So I'm heading up North Country, 3 stops tomorrow. So I will be there, up there running, doing more and more campaigning. We will be doing more shows. We will be doing more. We're campaigning like always. I'm going to need more from you when the time comes. More from you. What I mean is, when we get the stamps, when we start talking about the write-in, I'm going to need you to start talking about write-ins like there's no tomorrow to everybody you know who's a New York voter. And it's just going to have to be people talking about it, and talking about it. It has to be that. We get the stamps, hand the stamps out, let people talk about it, show them that we can do this. It will be challenging, but we can do it. It will be very, very, if we do it, it'll be amazing. And I hope we can. Let me grab a couple comments if I can. So Thomas says, real libertarians are stronger on peace and love than any other political organization. That's true. Yes, absolutely. 100%. So let me grab a couple more here. Some specific ones. David says, I could really use that garage, Larry. Please take my $100. Yes, well, that's my whole point, right? If I took the money and then you moved in, that's a contract. Well, I paid my money. I got people on the ballot. That's my contract. So yes, I completely agree. Absolutely. Yes. Morgan says they changed the rules because you were making impact. Morgan, I'm going to tell you something. What happened in the Board of Elections it's actually what happened, right? And what I mean by that is, according to the law, and if again, you can see this, it's in the law. It's quoted in our brief. It's right there. The law states that the Board of Elections shall, not may, shall, it will assume that the petitions are valid and good unless objected, right? There has to be an objector who does it. Now, there was an objector. That's true. A guy named O'Connor, a Conservative Party guy, was an objector. But what the board said is, we didn't look at his objection. We don't care about that because they wanted to make sure it didn't matter in case it was wrong or bad. Wow, that's terrible. And then they said, we just counted. Well, according to a BOE law, the laws on the election law, which again, we stated and showed them, they can't do that. You are supposed to put the assumption or the challenge or the burden of any proof is on the objector, not on me. How do I know that? Because they didn't count everybody's. They counted mine. Some people were not counted. They counted mine. Why'd you count mine? To your point, they knew that if I got on the ballot, oh my God, it went through and decided to trash mine. Didn't do other people, but mine they did. So yeah, so that was one of our issues. We brought it up, and 7 judges didn't care. 7 judges didn't care that the Board of Elections literally broke the law that we quoted and showed them. 7 judges didn't care. The answer was, yeah, but no. Other people already ruled that you suck, Larry, so I guess you suck. Done. That's basically what I said. They fell back to precedent, and this makes it worse. So yes. Pete says, don't they have to make it possible to get in the ballot? And can't we prove it's obvious not possible in these guidelines? We did, Pete, and 7 judges did not care. But yes, 100%. Yes. Yep. Let's see here. John says, who appointed these judges to the federal? They're all state judges. They're Democrat and Republican. I got to tell you, when it comes to keeping third parties off the ballot, Democrats and Republicans are lockstep. They are right in line. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Michelle says, did they say why? Yes. Because past stuff. Yes. Judge Weinstein didn't even read what we said. Just said, no, you didn't do things that you did. And there's literally data that said you did it. Didn't do it at all. So yes, that was the reason. And again, if you think I'm making this up, this is public. You can go check it out yourself. You can listen to it. They literally just went, okay, thanks. Next. You have no power, Larry. So go away. And oh well, that's what happened. Yes. PD says that's horrible. It is. Yes. Yes. Kerry says it's so frustrating. It is. And Kathy says because they can. Kathy, thank you. That's the truth. Because they can. So what I'm trying to get at here, guys, is let's push forward with the writing campaign. Let's not stop moving forward and telling people about it. Let's get people to do so if they can. Like, comment, and share these things. While I would love to scream about the judges all day, I would. And I was madder at Judge Weinstein last time because I felt like he really didn't, he gave me absolutely no respect, didn't even read what we put together. And we busted our ass to put this thing together, didn't hear what I had to say at all. It's as if I was talking to nobody. And it was so obvious that what he wrote, it was literally against what we said, like as if he didn't even read it. These 5 made me angry too, but if you were in the courtroom, you know what I'm about to say. I could see their faces. I looked at those judges when Gary Denoyan was speaking, and I just went, oh, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. And none of them did. They just didn't give a shit. They were like, why are we here? Did you? No, they didn't care at all. And the 2 lawyers who were for the state were like, no, we said no because we do what we want. And the judges didn't really question them. Went, oh, okay. You do what you want? Okay. It was like they were all the state together, and I was the one guy. And then I asked to speak in writing, and they told me no. I was my own lawyer. I was pro se, and they told me no. Then we asked again. Look right at me. No. Barry, you're your own lawyer, and you don't get to speak. Why? Because rules. I had 15 people in the freaking courtroom, drove up from New York, dropped tons of money on this, was my own lawyer, and they looked at me and went, no. Why? Because we're the judges and you're not one of us. So, I don't know. No. That's it. That was the reason. So, yeah, I would love to yell all day about how bad the judges are because they were bad. The entire judge system in our state is terrible. And I'll go off topic for a second. Just, I'm going to give you another small thing if I could. A story if I could. Imagine for a second, you are a judge. You've been a judge for many years. You love the law because you're a judge and all those things. And now the legislature creates a terrible law. And the law that the legislature creates is so bad. It is if you are convicted of spraying graffiti on a wall, and if you are 16 years or older, the sentence is mandatory minimum, death. That's the rules. They come up in New York State that if you are 16 years or older, convicted of graffiti, that the mandatory minimum is death. So now you're a judge, and the jury convicts a 16-year-old of graffiti. You now have to sentence that 16-year-old to death. You do it. If you say yes, you are a horrible human being. Very clear. If you went, yes, the law, you are a horrible human being. You'd make a really good Nazi. You're a horrible human being if you actually were to say that. Of course you wouldn't. You would do several things. You'd either find a way around it, you'd resign, you would just say, I'm not doing it. I guess you'll have to go and appeal or something, right? So most judges would say, I'm not going to sentence a 16-year-old to death for spraying graffiti. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to murder a kid who made a mistake like that. So I'm going to sentence him to whatever. I don't know, whatever's the appropriate, I don't know what the appropriate thing would be. Sake of argument, 6 months in jail. I have no idea what it is, but for whatever. You sentence him to what's appropriate for that. He's convicted, he did a stupid thing, you gave him 6 months. What would happen if you did that as a judge? Clearly, somebody would say, you can't do that. The law says you must murder him, right? Somebody would do something. There'd be some kind of appellate issue, some type of appeal, some of ruling. And then eventually a judge. Now let me go to the next one. You're now the appeals court judge. And they go to you and say, hey, Judge Larry Sharp decided to not murder a 16-year-old. Can you make a ruling on this? Would you go, well, he should have murdered him, so I'm going to suspend Judge Sharp and I'm going to sentence the kid to death? Would you do that? I hope you wouldn't do that. Oh my God, you'd be a terrible person. You say, this law is clearly garbage. I'm not upholding this law. It is a garbage law. I'm striking it down or something like that. Of course you would. Of course you would. One of the arguments that I got from all seven judges was, yeah, we don't have any power to strike this down. But if it was this, you could. And they didn't. They just let it go. I go one step further. But think of all the people who came out of the bail reform issues, 4, 5, 6-time offenders, violent offenders, and they went back out because the judges let them go. Why did judges let them go? When they go, no, you are a violent offender. This actually happened. You literally didn't make your last court date. That's why you're arrested again. You skip court dates. You are clearly someone who is both violent and cannot be trusted. Well, law says letting you out. Why didn't they hold them? They wouldn't. No matter what, in New York State, we just follow the state. Why do we have judges? We should just have algorithms. I'm not even joking. We should get rid of all of our judges, replace them with algorithms. And you would say, but Larry, then they would tweak the algorithms to support the state. They're doing that now. So why do I give them the algorithm? Let them do it that way. It's cheaper. We'll save some money. Judges, the jury system will zip right through. 100%. They'll all be algorithms. Who cares? Let's make it algorithms. Fire the judges. A whole lot cheaper. They never get sick. It's an algorithm. Life is good. Court dates are on time. Rocking and rolling. Why bother? Without question, the judges in this state are broken. So yes, they should have stepped in bail reform. They should have stepped in my fictitious case, and they should have stepped in when we can see that as we speak across this state about voter fraud all day long, right? Voter suppression all day long. But now we have ballot suppression, and they will do nothing. And they will say their hands are tied. Of course their hands aren't tied. They just don't want to do it. Their hands aren't tied. They're judges. Some of you may not know this. I hope most of you do. One of the jobs of our judicial branch is to check the legislature. Literally one of their jobs. So they absolutely do have the power and could do it. And if they had some courage and some balls, they would. But they don't. They sit back. They don't care. And when I watch that judge up there, I tell this story not that often, but you know what I mean when I say it. Some of the work I've done in the past was with consulting with criminal defense attorneys. And I've watched innocent people go to jail. And I knew they were innocent. In fact, I believe the judge knew they were innocent. A prosecutor once said, yeah, this guy, he's innocent until proven broke. He said it out loud. Literally said that. Innocent until proven broke. That's the system we're in. He can say it out loud. No punishment. Didn't matter. And they laughed. That's the system we're in, with judges who just won't do anything but sit back and support the state. That's where we are. Maybe we can change this. How? By getting more people to talk about this and understand this. I hope. How? By getting 130,000 write-in votes so that people pay attention. That's what I want. We do this, we can make change. We absolutely can. So yes. So David says, I'm trying not to be a cynical New Yorker, but it's been like this forever and becoming progressively worse. This is my worst. David, you're reading my mind. We have to stop this. If we don't stop this, it just gets worse. It's already pretty bad. I don't want it to get any worse. I just don't. Thomas says, I have a lot of swear words for these judges. Yes, sadly, it won't matter. Yes. No hospital downtown. How are you? Corrupted political and judicial system. Sad. Not at all surprising. See, I'm glad you said that. Because I was more surprised last time. Because in my heart, what I thought, look, I could understand why people would think this. I could understand why hundreds of years ago, you could think that segregation could be separate but equal. I could understand how a judge could think that. I get it. Obviously, it's wrong, but I could see that logic. I could, totally. But then they showed them that segregation was bad. Still is bad, right? Segregated schools aren't good. It's not helpful, right? It's bad. So they changed the law. New information. So I thought, I'll give this Judge Weinstein a bunch of new information. And this time, he'll do it right. I honestly thought that could work. I really did. It didn't. This time I knew I had to just see, do judges care or not? I just looked him in the face when Gary was talking. And the second I saw they didn't give a shit, again, I was like, we're done. But when I walked out, there were people there, they were like, Larry's just good. I'm like, no, it's not good. I just literally told them, it's not good. They didn't care. And judges should care, but they don't. And there we go. And Andrea, to Andrea's point, the judges in New York, they're terrible. Correct. They are. If you're a judge watching, you probably suck. I'm not in your courtroom, so you can't get mad at me. When I'm in your courtroom, you can put me in jail. I'm not. You probably suck. Just saying that. Yes. So, any case, let me keep you moving. Joel says, lawyers and judges are like that. Do not listen or read, make judgments and appearances and prejudice. Yes. I don't. They didn't read it. They didn't care. They didn't bother reading it at all. That's the part that drives me crazy. Yes. Jason says, I feel hopeless in the state of New York and the political atmosphere that exists. Is there another position you can run for to make a difference? Jason, I don't think so. Right? And there were many reasons why I decided to punish myself this year. One of them is I didn't think there was anybody else who could do it. Not in New York State. And I was right. I can't even clearly even get on the ballot. But I thought nobody could have. I thought my logic was, if not me, nobody. Right? And no, the governor candidate did. So I was right. Now I think I have to keep going because everybody else quit. I think I have to keep going. But no, people say it all the time, Larry, run for something local and win. If I just wanted to win something, if that's what I wanted, I would run as a Democrat in New York City, something. I would win, right? I'd run as whatever, city council, I don't know, whatever, something. I'd run for something in New York City as a Democrat, and I'd win. I would have a victory. If that's what I'm looking for, I think that's the right move. I'm looking for change, right? I guess if I could change something, I don't know, maybe. I guess I'd consider something like that if there was some change. I don't see any other thing that can really make a difference. I don't just want to win something, right? I want to make impact. Otherwise, I'm going to win something and be part of just a bad system just for nothing. I can just grift then, right? Everybody else is grifting. So I just join the grifter class? I guess I could. I don't know. So, all right. Let's see here. John says, are we able to petition for a change in law to formalize the time a party can send the ballot? You can, but no one's going to pay attention, because how New York State works is they will only you can only get something on the ballot as one of those initiatives if our assembly agrees to it. So yeah, absolutely. Yes. Missy says, this is so discouraging. We can't give up, though. We just can't. I agree with you, Missy. I'm not. I'm still there. So Philip says, how can we support your writing campaign? Two things as always. Well, three things total, right? There are several things I need you to do. Number one, I say it every time we talk, and I have to keep saying it. Every single piece of media that you consume, whether you consume it via internet, whether you consume it on TV, radio, however you consume it, newspaper, whatever it is, reach out to that organization again. You did it last week, do it again this week. Keep doing it. Reach out to those media outlets saying, they took Larry Sharpe off the ballot. Are you covering this? They took Larry Sharpe off the ballot. Why aren't you covering this? That matters. If you can do that, I'm telling you, this will matter. Local media will help tremendously. Big media will help too, but local media will help tremendously. So if you have any media you consume, tell them this. It does matter. Number one. Number two, tell people that hey, you got to write in Larry Sharpe, or there's going to be no independence in this country for a generation. You got to do it. Just write in his name. I don't like the guy. I don't care. Write in his name. It's fine. What they just basically achieved for sure is now we're going to have Kathy Hochul again. I know some of you just want to vomit and throw up. But unless a miracle happens, that's what's going to happen. Some of you go, well, now you're going to get behind Lee Zeldin. Stop with that. You be very clear. If you are a Republican watching this and you believe that the Republican can win, you have a mental disorder known as Stockholm Syndrome. And I'm not joking. You have a mental disorder known as Stockholm Syndrome. They've been lying to you for 20 years. The Republican cannot win. It is a lie. He's been taking your money and lying to you forever. He doesn't care. He's grifting you. The guy who runs the Republican Party, his name is Nick Langworthy, took over the party stating that he was going to win the governorship. He was going to take over. Remember that? That was his whole thing. Save our state. What did he do? He took that position, and now he's running for Congress. He's going to become a congressman. He is now going to be the grifter in chief. That guy took your money so he could grift. If you're a Republican listening to this and you believe the lie that the Republican win, you have Stockholm syndrome. And when they lose again by 20 points, what is wrong with you? There'll be no impact. A write-in vote for me makes impact because whoever, and you might go, but Larry, getting Republicans, we have to push Kathy Hochul. Have they done it before? 2014, was it all of a sudden a red wave to stop Kathy, sorry, not Kathy Hochul, Cuomo at the time? 2018, is that what happened? All those great policies Republicans came up in 2014 and 2018. Was there a push? No. They got right back in line and laid back down as they've been doing, and they'll do it again in 2020, 2022. They'll do it again. Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. Please, you're like the girlfriend who just keeps going back to the job. Pick me this time. Stop. He doesn't love you. He's not into you. He never will be. He never cared for you in the first place. And doesn't. And that hurts. I know. But it's okay because I'm here. Write in Larry Sharpe. That's the actual answer. So that's the second thing. Tell people to write in. Third thing, share this everywhere you possibly can. Social media is our answer. Absolutely. Now, coming up here, hopefully within a week or two, we'll be able to sell merch and things that say write in Larry Sharpe. We'll be able to have stamps, all those things. If you can purchase them, please do so. If you cannot, convince someone else to. If you can make your own signs, it's important too. I will give you what I think is very important. If you can afford to purchase a sign to put in front of your home, please do so. If you cannot purchase one, that's okay. Can you make one? I'm very serious. Can you make one? Doesn't matter what it's made out of. Wood, paper, paint, whatever. Write in Larry Sharpe is going to help tremendously. Signs matter. Why do signs matter? Because signs show legitimacy. They show somebody cares. This could work. People have to believe it. Signs don't work very well when it comes to Republicans, Democrats, because they're already established. People assume they're established. It's okay. But signs for third parties work tremendously. So that will be helpful. Jennifer says, the courts are never going to do us any favors. This was the outcome they wanted. Yes. Yes. Oh, and of course, Phil, hold on. To be clear, your question. If you want to shop right there, LarrySharpe.com/shop. Everything helps. And if you can, LarrySharpe.com/donate. Why does donations matter right now more than anything else? Here's why. The campaign is still in trouble financially. We dropped so much money on ballot access. Of course, we still are. We've got to buy stamps because not everyone can afford a stamp. So I'm going to be able to get those stamps, give them out. Shirts, I'm going to be able to, the campaign to purchase them in bulk, which will be cheaper, and be able to give them out and to get people to purchase them. So that's your donation will be going towards that. You'll be basically helping out to buy stamps. And we need thousands upon thousands of stamps. You can imagine, if a stamp costs us $3, I'm not sure what it'll cost us, probably in that area, $4, $5. I'm assuming in that area, say $4. If we want 100,000 stamps, $400,000. A lot of money to get stamps. We'll get as many as we can. We'll get as many as we can. We'll get them out there as fast as we possibly can. So donation also helps, of course. Shopping helps, and the other things I mentioned also, of course, help. So I hope that was clear. So Kathy says you can save New York. I think we can. I agree with you, Kathy. I think we can. If we make this happen, I think we can. Yeah. So John says, what can we do once they've decided they can make and change the rules at will when a government claims to have the rights as governor? I think it's a problem. So you've got to make it, you have to make it to a point where even the parasite parties and the Working Families Party and Conservative Party are parasite parties, right? They're grifter parties where people grift and get extra money. And the Republicans and Democrats fault this all the time. Democrats will be like, I'm tired of Kathy Hochul, so I'll teach her. I'll vote for her on the Working Families line. That'll help. All you've done is made things worse. You feel better about yourself, you made things worse. Oh, Republicans are the opposite. I'm going to teach these guys. I'm going to vote for them on a conservative line. Holy crap, is that stupid? You've just validated that the Conservative Party should not be conservative and should just follow the Republicans. So, yeah, once we become so popular that they have to raise the threshold high enough to remove the parasite parties, then the parasites will be unhappy because they make their money being parasites. So they'll be unhappy. So that's when change will come internally. There'll be enough people that can change at that point. We have to make it to where they have to get rid of all the parties but two. And that will eventually be the case. So I hope that makes sense. So, all righty. Let's see here. Pete says, time to pack up and head south. Brother, I am feeling you, Pete. I am feeling you. Just no tomorrow. I'm feeling you. Yes, I'm feeling it. But we have a job to do, Pete. We started this thing. We need to finish it. We started this. We got to finish it, right? That's what we got to do. We got to finish it. Michelle says, I'm paying off my house in 2 months in case I have a chance to leave. Give me 2 more months, Michelle. That's fine. Remember, November 8th, stay long enough to vote for me, please. Stay long enough to stamp or write my name in, please. See if we can make some impact here. So I get it. Absolutely. It says, what about running as an independent candidate? That's literally what I'm doing. Yes. The only way of doing it is what I'm doing. Yes, that's the way. John says, been watching since the governor's house. See, and I'm glad you brought that up. When I ran in 2018, I was doing a weekly show whenever I could called the Gov Shack or the governor's house. And I was doing that because I wanted to make sure I was staying connected with New York State people the whole time, even while I was running. I'm running now and I'm still doing it. And even you guys know when I wasn't running, I was still crossing the state and meeting people. I wanted to make sure that I could stay connected. I wanted to show you that supporting me didn't mean you'll see me every 4 years when I want money, which is what all the grifters do. Every 4 years, they lie to you and go, this is the year. It's the most important election. Every 2 years. It's the most important election. Give me money, give me money, give me money. I want you to give me money too. I do. The difference is it's not just every 2 years, and it's not just for the election only. That's the difference. So, but yes, I get it. Ross has moved to Tennessee. Man, have I thought about it, Ross. I have thought about it. Absolutely, I've thought about it. Yes. Boeing says, Larry, exactly when we make it happen, not if. Thank you. Joel says, stamp out the duopoly. That's good. I like that. Absolutely. John says, presumably living in New York City, my actual vote would decide the gubernatorial race, but it sounds like my vote for Sharp would help libertarians back on the ballot. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Let's be clear about this. Is there a chance that the Democrat or Republican decide, let's put Larry Sharp in debate with us for a reason? Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Odds are slim. Very slim, to be fair with you. But if it happens, we can still win this thing. Let's do this. Get in debate stage. It's a winnable race. We got it. If we're not in debate stage and we're not in the ballot, the odds of victory are just insanely slim. I mean, just so slim. Just being forward, you guys know that even the last campaign, when I first started talking, I was talking about victory because I believed that we could. I thought it was true up front. The Republicans didn't have a nominee for a long time, not until May. I mean, it wasn't really even a primary. So I thought maybe there was a chance I could win this thing. I believed it. As the campaign went on, if you remember, my rhetoric in 2018 changed. I began saying, well, what if I come in second? How does that work? What if I come in third? I started explaining that because I wanted to set realistic expectations that at one point I believed that victory was kind of slim. I've been that way here too. When I thought we can get on the ballot and get in debates, I was talking about victory because that was a chance. Jesse Ventura did it. It could be done. It was an example of it. Victory was there. So I told you. But I also about coming in second because I couldn't do it, right? But what if I come in second? What if I come in third? Now, with the most recent ruling, until today, I was still thinking I could still win, come in second, could still do it. Not looking like that now. And I don't want to lie to you guys. I never have, and I don't want to. Some of you don't like what I say. I know. Some of you get mad at stuff I say. I know. I can have you mad at me. I can have you disagree with me. I can have you think I'm a bad person. Can't have you not trust me. Because once that happens, we're done, right? Once you don't trust me, we're done. You're not going to believe me anymore. So I have to always be straight no matter what, even when shit's bad. And sometimes it is. That's the only way I can gain your respect. It's the only way I can retain your respect. It's the only way I can keep earning your respect is by doing that. So I'm letting you know the odds of us winning now are insanely slim. And I'm talking a whole lot more about can we just make enough impact to get on the ballot to save the state for next year? That's what we can do. That can be done. That's what I want. Is there a chance that we get included in debates? It's possible. I wouldn't bet on it if I were you. The odds are slim. But if that happens, yeah, we could still win this thing on coming second or third, even with the write-in. If we get in debates, could happen. Odds are slim. The reality is we have to push forward, get those 130,000 votes, and still get ballot access. Or to be very full with you, if we can't get the 130,000 votes, the state's finished. I've never said that before, but I'm saying it now. The state's finished. These rulings will be codified for a generation. There will be no chance of independence, and the Republicans are leaving in droves. This will be a one-party state for 20 more years. This state can't be a one-party state for 20 more years. It just can't. It will fall apart. It will literally collapse. Illinois will go first. New York will go second. It's the game, right? This is, I know why. Why do you guys think I was trying so hard I was trying my damnedest, and clearly I failed at this, but I was trying my damnedest to get people to join us. I was trying my damnedest to create coalitions because I knew how hard this would be. And I knew this was, in my world, this is the end of the world. And sadly, most of the LP didn't believe me. Most of the people don't believe me. None of the other parties believe me because they all just either stabbed me in the back or walked away from me. So none of them believe me. So they didn't believe me. Clearly, I was not the right messenger for that message. Maybe I should have had someone just yelling, screaming, and have their hairs on fire or something. I don't know. Clearly, I didn't do that well enough. But that's what I still believe. We have to push forward. If we don't, it's the game. And you guys know I love this state. You know I do. I would have left already. I can do what I do in another state. I don't have to do it here. I want to do it here. I'm born here. I'm raised here. I don't want to leave. Anyway, what am I going to do? We'll do what we can. So David says, I'll buy a stamp. Thank you, David. Once it comes out, we'll make that happen. Absolutely. Yes. Craig says, why would they actually admit if we did accomplish 130,000? How would we check them? Craig, this is a very valid point, and someone asked me about this today. Craig, by the way, running out there in the Southern Tier. Please check him out. He's brilliant and smart and savvy. I'll be heading out to one of his events coming up here. Is it October 6th, Craig? I think October 6th. I'll be out there. One of his events out there. So someone asked me about this. We are going to have to, again, this is why I need so many people around. We're going to have a bunch of people poll watching. You are correct, Craig. We're going to have a bunch of people poll watching. And stamps will matter. The stamps matter. People are going to see stamps, hear stamps. It's a whole lot harder to miss that. So, yes, you are correct. It will be a challenge. But first steps first. We'll worry about that in October. September, let's get the stamps. October, let's worry about the people watching the polls. You are correct, though. Savvy man that Craig is, you are absolutely correct. Yes. Yes. All right. And that's Michelle's point. Are they actually counted if we write them in? Yes, they are supposed to be. And they all know it. And I think there's some paperwork, if I'm not mistaken, that I have to fill out. So I will take care of that. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Dave says, next year they'll probably outlaw write-ins in 2024. Yes, you're right. That'll be the next thing, Dave. They'll outlaw write-ins too. Yes, of course. 100%. So yeah. Phil says, how do we spell your name on a ballot? Assuming Larry is short for something. No, Larry is not short for something. My name is Larry Sharp. That is my name, not Lawrence. It is Larry Sharp. It's Sharp with an E. That's all it takes. Larry Sharp. Yes, that's what you want to do. So John asks, where are you going besides Greenwich? Hold on. Let me see if I can tell you where I'm going. I'm pretty sure we have a, got to find it here. I am going to be, for those of you who care, tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow I will be in Greenwich in Washington County at noon. I will then be at 2:30 in Warren County in Queensbury. And then at 6:30, I'll be in Long Lake in Hamilton County. That's tomorrow. So noon, 2:30, and 6:30. You can go to my Facebook page and check those out. They're always there. Also, Twitter. There's a picture with all three of them there. So happy to see any of you want to stop out. If you can show up, it really does matter tremendously. Please show up if you can. So yes, absolutely. All right. Let me keep going if I can grab. Okay. Chris says, I'd be happy to place your son in my New York property. Thank you, Chris. Everyone. Yes, please. Phil says, we're still here and we're still fighting. Absolutely. We have to make sure this keeps going. We can't stop. Yes, we can't stop. So, all right. Let's see if oh yeah, New York, just us system. Nice. Ryan says, imagine a writing campaign winning. It happened in Buffalo. You guys don't realize that there is precedent to this, right? There is precedent to this, right? It did happen in Buffalo. This can happen. Absolutely. Yes. And he goes on, write and win, ultimate FU. Yeah, it is, Ryan. Let's hope for that. I love it. David says, a quick question. Is there a possibility this further? Yes, there is. Say federal court. All right. There is a federal a lawsuit going. To be very forward with you guys, it is not going well. I'm not really part of it. I mean, officially I'm part of it, but the lawyers didn't really bring me in on that one. A lot of stuff that we did in the past that probably wasn't the best thing that we could have done. The problem that we have in general in the Libertarian Party is we have so many things that have to get done, no money to pay people, and a lack of enough bodies that are talented, right? If we have one or two good lawyers, there's 8 cases that we need to get done, and we got one or two good lawyers. Oh, I'm sorry, not just one or two good lawyers, one or two good lawyers who can take the case for cheap or free. Not every lawyer can afford. If we got a good lawyer who's libertarian, maybe he or she they have to pay bills. They can't take it for free or cheap, right? So we don't have enough cash to pay the good lawyers to do the work. And then there's only a couple good lawyers that we could possibly have that could do it for free or for cheap. So we wind up stretching out our resources all across the country, enough people to help. It's challenging for us to do it. So yes, there is one in federal court. It's not going well at all. It just isn't. And I'm not really part of that. This I thought was our best hope, which is why I personally jumped on this one. That was my time and energy. I personally put into this one. As you know, I was personally there, personally speaking, trying to make it happen to the best of my ability, trying to lead from the front to the best of my ability. Could we go again? Maybe. As I said earlier, odds are no. The problem is all of the things that these bad judges and bad decisions are making, they kind of, if you can understand how the law tends to work, they fall on top of each other. So every time a judge says, Larry Sharpe, go to hell, another judge has to go, wait a minute. 4 judges said Larry Sharpe, go to hell? I'm going to be the guy who says Larry Sharpe is right? Now I'm asking for a bold judge in New York State. Do they exist? I mean, maybe there's one somewhere. I got to hope I get the one judge who's not a state hack. I mean, maybe there's some here in New York State. I haven't found them, but maybe there are some who are just not New York State hacks, who just support the state and don't care about the people. Maybe there's a couple of judges who do, I guess, maybe. I'd have to find that judge, hope I get them, and they go, yeah, these are the 7 judges? What a bunch of jerks. Larry Sharpe's right. Wow, that's hard. So could we do it? Yes. Should we do it? I don't know, because the problem is that's going to cost another 5 figures, David, another 5 figures. And now the money could be used for stamps, could be used for something else. And I'm tired, to be very full with you, of not making money personally and having to still do this, right? I am not working, so I am literally not making money. So my bills are being paid not by a check coming out of my, company, but by personal debt. Last time I did this, I was 6 figures in debt at the end of the year and a half that I took off. I don't want to keep doing this and staying in debt to just get my ass kicked again. And then on top of it, just create another judge who just says another time, Larry Sharpe, go to hell. Now there's 8 judges who said Larry Sharpe, go to hell. How the hell am I going to get out of this hole, right? The system perpetuates itself, if that makes any sense. Because they say, because a judge said it, that makes it right, even though that's stupid, but that's the way they work. So again, to your question, could I? Sure. Should we? I don't know. And again, if my counselors and the people around me and Gary Denoyan, who is our star lawyer, if they all tell me, Larry, go get your ass kicked again, I'll do it. I will. I'm telling you. I just did this morning. I'll do it. I will. I am the Marine. I will go into the front line and I'll get my ass kicked again. So if I need to, I will do it. I don't want to, David. And if I don't have to, I'd rather put the money someplace else. So I hope I'm answering your question. This is not. Why do you think everybody else quit? Right? Why do you think everybody else quit? Who wants to go get their ass kicked every week and then get yelled at still and get disrespected still and get treated like garbage? Who wants to do that? They don't. I'm the idiot who does it, right? That's me. I'm the one who keeps going. But stay with me, please. Is all I'm saying. Stay with me. Yes, absolutely. Thomas says, do you ever think about buying a bulldozer and making welding your hobby? Thomas, almost every day. Almost every day. Right? Yeah, almost every day. So I hope that was that answered your question. All right. Let's see. Morgan says Japan has an AI judge already. Is that right? Well, there we go. They'd be cheaper at least, right? No salaries, right? No robes, no room for them to be in, no staff. Who cares? The staff is all going to be just, e-file everything. No staff, a lot cheaper. And all they're going to do is be hacks for the state anyway. So they should save some money at least. So the judges can now screw us all over and put us all in jail and have bad decisions, but for cheap. So we get the same terrible service, but for a whole lot less. Not bad. I like it. Yes, absolutely. So, all right. Andrea says, it's like they don't want to know anything that besides the state show. Yes. They just cover their eyes and plug their ears, letting the state run away with all the power. And then they wonder why so many people are angry. Right? These are the same people who say, why are all these people mad? Why is everybody angry? Well, because you won't let us be heard. Because you won't let us get heard. Right? Putnam County says, I almost wish you'd play the race card. It's funny, right? You bring up a very valid point and a serious one to consider. At what point do you begin to sell out, and how far do you sell out when you're desperate? It's a good question. At what point do I go, the damage that I do is worth the benefit, right? At what point is the juice worth the squeeze? At what point is the end versus you're worth the means, right? At what point is that? I am trying my best to err on the side of not doing that. I really am. But I was open to parts of that, as you know, right? Many of you know I was open to having non-libertarians on my ticket so that I could build a better coalition and we could out get in the ballot, right? And many libertarians were mad at me about it, but that's part of it, right? How much of the game do I play? At what level? And what I was thinking, for some of you who don't know this, is I literally asked the Green Party. I didn't want them to petition. I thought it was a terrible idea. And the Green Party was insanely stupid and decided to petition anyway. I know Howie Hawkins personally. I know the top two people in the Green Party. And I was like, look, give me an AG candidate and I'll put your Green Party AG candidate on my ballot and we'll petition together. Now, why would I pick AG? Because the closest thing that Greens and Libertarians overlap on is criminal justice. It's not perfect overlap, but it's the closest thing. So I was prepared to do a little bit of sellout. I was, but I thought that wasn't crazy, right? That's a sellout that in my mind, I thought was okay. When they talk about socialism and stuff, they probably would. But at least criminal justice was close to us, and I would prepare to give that up. I give that up if they decide that, right? I was ready to give the Conservative Party the controller piece. I was considering that too. I was open to that concept too. Other people open to control. I was open to an empowerment party person, a controller. I was open to that idea. It's very early on. I was open to that, having conversations. Nobody wanted to. They would not join me. So I was thinking, if I have the right people in the right place that are libertarian enough, I considered someone who actually was someone who actually got a libertarian endorsement to my lieutenant governor. I considered that also. I considered all the things. I did. I considered all of them. But there was never the right yes, no, it just wouldn't work. But I considered all of those. The question becomes, at what point do I do that, right? And if I play the race card once, you guys know me. I don't have a problem talking about race. I talk about it whenever I think it's appropriate. The question is this appropriate? Are they trying to get the black guy, right? I don't think they are, but there was a time when they were. Here in New York State, one of my friends went to jail when the Democrats were trying to stop a black Republican from running for mayor. This is a true story. This actually happened when my friends went to jail. Bullshit charge because of this, because it did happen. That in that specific case, I would have played the race card because that was appropriate at that time. Democrats did not want a black Republican running for mayor. That was a racial issue. That was the race card. I would have played it then. Do I play it now when I don't think that's what they're doing? Is it worth it? My gut says no. My gut says I want to play that card when it's the right card to play. If I really thought it was get the black guy, then yes, I would play it if I thought that was true. I don't think the issue, I don't think they care what race I am. I think they give a damn that I might make impact. If I was white, Asian, Hispanic, I don't think they would care. I don't think they would care. So I'm with you on the almost. And don't get me wrong, do I think about these things? Guys, I'm human. Of course I think about them. Of course I ponder them. Of course I do. It doesn't mean I do them. I'm still human. I still feel desperate and angry and all the things you feel. We're all just human beings. Of course I feel it. So I get it. But I hope that I show you in my thought process. I hope I show you in how I think and the situation that I'm in, where my head actually is and where my morals actually are. I hope they're obvious. I don't know if they are, but I hope it is. So yes. So Morgan said he'd be a Democrat. Well, thank you. Yes, absolutely. Patty says, at 62, I've lost my faith in almost everything except fighting the powers that be. Thank you, Patty. Stay with me, please. Absolutely. I do appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. So Ryan says, I wonder if these people with the Zeldin signs in their lawn actually think he even has thinks he has a chance at winning. He knows he can't win, right? You guys may not know this, but the Republican recently, he's running out of money, right? So the governor of Florida, DeSantis, actually backed out of a fundraiser with him. And by the way, I warned you guys about this. I told you a year ago, not a year ago, maybe about a year ago, almost 9 months ago, that around this time his money would run out. And you were like, why? Because at one point Republicans realize he can't win, and they're not going to keep putting money into something that can't make any impact, right? Why do people still keep giving me money? Because I keep giving you ways that I can make impact. Or why would I run? Someone just asked recently, why don't you run for something else? If I can't make impact, why would I ask for your money? Just so I can win something? I have a show. I have a business. I'll do that on my own. I'll make my own money. Thank you. I appreciate it, but I'll make my own money. It's fine. But I will ask for your money if I can make impact for us. Yes, I will absolutely ask for your money for that. So if we do the 130, we make impact. I'm in. We can do it. I hope to be running for victory. I don't know if that can happen anymore. And that's why I'm being very forward with you. But this we can do. So let's work on that. I'm asking you for money for that. Zeldin is stealing people's money, knows he can't win, started running out of money because people aren't going to give him any money anymore. Look, here's a reality. For those of you who've done heavy hitter fundraiser, people who can write checks for $10, $20, $30, $40,000. He has lots of those people in his world, right? Of course, he's a sitting congressman. Those people, they don't give money because they like Lee Zeldin or because they like the Republic. It's not why they do that. It's an investment for them, right? It's an investment. They're saying, who am I going to invest my money in? This guy can't win. I'm not giving him $40,000. He can't win anymore. Done. Next, I'll buy a Republican someplace else. I'll buy a Republican in Kentucky or Tennessee or whatever. I'll buy that Republican because that Republican can win. The red wave has slowed down across the country, and there's no way there's a red wave in New York State. That was never going to happen. They're seeing it, so they're not paying him anymore. So he went under $1 million. You might go, Larry, that's a lot of money. No, it isn't. For me, it'd be a lot of money. I wish I could get $1 million. It'd be awesome. For him, it's not because Kathy Hochul's over 15 million. So he was under $1 million. She's over 15 million. He actually had to go to Jersey, where Trump showed up. So Trump showed up to give him money in Jersey. Why? Because if Trump showed up in New York, oh my God, the Democrats would be all over that. Trump's in New York and Zeldin's with him, blah, blah, blah. He's Trump guy. They would turn Zeldin into Trump, and then he loses by 30 points instead of by 20 points. So do the people believe he can win? Yes, I think there are a lot of Republicans who actually think he can win. They have Stockholm syndrome. I don't know how long they're like battered spouses. I don't know why they won't get it. They can't get it. They've been battered so much, hurt so much. I feel bad for people in those situations. I really do. I'm serious. I feel bad for people in those situations. I hate when someone's in a terrible relationship and they can't get out. It's horrible. They don't even know anybody. They can't get out. Sometimes when people try to help them, they're so in a bad situation they can't even help with someone trying to get them out. If you've ever had someone in that situation, I might tell a story before. When I was a kid, I saw that. It's horrible when someone's in that battered spouse position, right? It's usually a spouse is a woman. Usually, sometimes it's a male though too. It does happen with males. It's usually women, but it's sometimes males too. They can't get out. I mean, physically, can they get out? Yes, physically they can get out. but mentally, emotionally, can't get out. They need a lot of help. It's not a thing. They can't get out. I think some of these Republicans, they just can't get out. It's terrible. So I hope I answered your question at least. Yes. Jake says, says, make ballot suppression an issue. One billboard can make a difference. I wish that were true. I don't think it is. Right? Most people don't even understand it. They don't want it. They don't get it. And I see it all the time. Larry, I love you, but I got to vote for the other one because I'm worried that, Hoke will win, or I'm worried that Zeldin will win. There's still Democrats who think Zeldin has a chance. And I got to vote for Hochul because, she might not win. What? But yes, absolutely. Yes. All righty. Michelle says that infiltrate from the inside. I would consider that, Michelle. And I have thought of this, right? But how does a guy like me get elected as a Democrat and make change as a Democrat? Bernie Sanders can't do it, and he's one of them. I'm not really a Democrat. Why don't you run Republican? I'm not really a Republican. So I'm not really a Democrat. So how do I run and then change? I'm open to rethinking it. Maybe I'm wrong, Michelle. I'm open to rethinking it. That's what I will say. Absolutely. Chip says, innocent until proven broke. Say 87,000 new. Oh my God, Chip. You are right, my friend. Innocent until proven broke. Say 87,000 new IRS agents. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yes. So Pete says, shocked there's not more outrage. Where's Green and Forward? Well, Forward is doing other things, and Green has surrendered a long time ago. The Green Party, sadly, is not big enough and strong enough in New York State. And again, you guys know, I offered Forward to take one of their people too on my campaign if they would support a line. Forward didn't want a line. Forward had different issues. They did different stuff. So Forward was on a whole different world. I'm not mad at Forward to be forward with you. I'm not mad at Forward because Forward didn't backstab me. They were open. They were forward about it. They said, look, we don't know. I don't think so. Other parties led me on and then stabbed me. Forward did not. They were very open. They were like, look, I don't think we're going to do this. We have other priorities. So they were actually with me. They were straight. Look, I'm unhappy they didn't give me, a line and money. I am not unhappy about that. I wanted it. However, they did not lie to me in any way. They did not do any of that stuff to me. They didn't pretend and maybe and I'm your friend. Nothing. They were very upfront with me about everything. So that I will give them. There was no chicanery, if that makes any sense. So yes, hope that made sense. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. Michelle says, why throw up Zeldin is a bad or worse? It is bad. Yes. Dave says Zeldin will get anywhere from 25 to 40% of the vote. That's accurate. That's accurate. Yes, that's where he'll go. Somewhere in that area. That's where he'll go. Absolutely. So let me see if I can go down here. Denny says stamps. Yes. Literally a stamp. You go click, and the name pops up. That's what it's about. 100%. Yes. Pete says, sell the stamps to $10 donation. We'll see, right? If we can do that, the advantage would be, Pete, if we could get the stamps like $5 as an example, sell them for 10, we then buy another stamp. So as we kept selling, we could buy more stamps. Correct. That would be the goal. I hope that we could do that, right? I hope that we could do that. That would be the goal. Yes. David said, the fact that you're staying, Larry, is super encouraging. We have to. We just have to. What people don't get here, and I know a lot of people don't understand this, what happens in New York comes to your state. So as you see them shut down all the other parties in New York State, they're just not doing it everywhere. Oh, we can shut down parties like that? New York did that? Why don't we try that? Then that becomes that's the other problem with our federal case, right? As our federal case fails and our state cases fail, that creates more precedent on see, it's okay to screw over third parties. See, it's okay to screw over third parties. That is my worry. So yes. The Rocket Man says, I'm trying to convince my family to write you in. Thank you, my friend. Yes. I love that. Please. Yes, absolutely. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Paul says, I'm still enjoying stalking the personalities at Fox News to have you on their respective shows. I would love to be on the shows. Oh my God, Paula, if you can make that happen, that would be awesome. If you can make that happen, that would be so awesome. Absolutely. Nate says, hey, brother, like, comment, share. Absolutely. Sorry. Like, comment, share. 100%. Get it out there. The best way to let people see this. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. 100%. 100%. Yes. So we're going to try our best to keep this going. I do appreciate that. Yes. 100%. Phil says, Tim Pool has days from the Maj Toure. We can definitely get some more eyeballs for the writing campaign. Yes, and I got to give it to Dave. Dave actually did a nice tweet out to get people to show up. That was great. He helped out tremendously. So if Dave, you happen to be watching or his friends are, 100%. Yes, this is really important. These guys help out a lot, and I appreciate all the things that you guys are doing. I really do. It is amazing. Speaking of that, we should probably start watching him talk too. Guys, I want to cover a couple things if I could. Number one, we had a loss today. I got my ass kicked yet again. That's been happening a lot these last 6 months. But I hope you know that every time I fall down, I get back up. I try to give you the honest answer to everything that's happening. I'm very open and forward with both my successes and my failures, both of them. We can still keep going. We should keep going. The odds of our victory is slimmer. There's no doubt. But there is a way of us getting past this. The writing campaign is the answer. If we do this, we still get 130,000 votes. We still get ballot access. The party still becomes a real party. We can make change and push. You know that whatever the Republicans do, whatever they get, 25 to 40% of vote, whatever they get, all they're going to do is go, oh, we'll win next time. And they'll walk away, which is what they've been doing for 20 years. But you know that I'll still be here. If we get ballot access, I will cross this state again, as it did in 2019. And there'll be local people winning and making changes in your counties, making changes in your school districts, making changes in your towns and cities. And that's what we need. We do that. We have 130,000 write-in votes. That guarantees us ballot access in 2024. We'll get it again in 2026. It'll keep going. And here's the best part. Once that happens, I'll give you the best news of the day. If I give the best news of the day. New York State is doing something that I hate. I can't stand it, but they're doing it. As of November 9th, New York State's going to start paying, I'm not joking, paying with your tax dollars for elections. Your tax dollars will be paying for elections. So you will be paying $100 million, $100 million for everyone around, all the people to run, the grifters, the Democrats, Republicans, to run for office. You're going to be paying them for that. All their grifters, all their people, you're paying them for everything, right? That's terrible. But we can take advantage of it too. So that means next year, you want to run a local campaign, we raise enough money, which I will help you to raise the money, because once you raise X, you then pay. They pay you, by the way, 6-1. I'm not joking. That's the amount of money where we just write checks like nothing across this day. I can't stand it, but it's the way we can have success to stop it. So you're running for your local city council, your local alderman, you raise, say, $1,000, the state gives you 6,000 more bucks. You could actually win some campaigns here. I'll help you raise $1,000. Now, all of a sudden, people start raising that money and actually winning. We get 10, 20, 30 people who can win across the state as libertarians, 100, 200 across the state. Now 2024 comes. We have people who will vote in, whoever our presidential candidate is, right? Whoever that, get those numbers in, so we still have ballot access. Now 2026 comes. 2026 comes, the governor candidate can get $6 million. I'm not joking. Just raise $500,000. I do that every time I run. I raise $500,000. I get $3 million. That's just for the primary. Another $3 million after that. We do that. I get $6 million. I'm the next governor. I'm not joking. You know it's true. I get $6 million. I'm the next governor. They know that too. They do not want me getting that money. I get it. I'm the next governor. And the best part is, when I'm the next governor, I can end this garbage. I can end this garbage. There's the good news of the day. There still is hope. Sadly, it's 2 months away for now, and then 4 years after that. But it's still a road we can hoe. I told all of you in 2016, if you have followed me since then, I had a 10-year plan. 10 years ends 2026. So we can make that happen. We started in 2016. We can make this thing happen in 2026 for sure, if we rock and roll with this one. So guys, please like, comment, share. It does matter. If you can donate, please donate. It always helps. It helps us get stamps. It helps us get gas. It helps us get all the things we need to move forward. And we're going to be buying stamps left and right. Please watch the shop. We will be having stamps coming up here eventually. We're now going to work on it, right? And we find them, get those stamps. If you can put a sign out in front of your lawn, if you can do a sign, if you can do a bumper sticker. It matters. Car magnets, if you're one of those Uber drivers or Lyft drivers, whatever, car magnets, all helps if you can do that. I appreciate all of it tremendously. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for this evening. I'll be out there tomorrow, 3 stops. So I'll see you all tomorrow if you're going to be in North Country. And then I'm back out again the weekend for that in Buffalo on Cattaraugus. So I'll be out there too. Western New York after that. We'll see. I'll see you all.